Hello everybody, my name's Starraptor and this is my spoiler-free review of X-Men Apocalypse. So to start things off, I'll do a quick plot summary of what happened in this movie. So first off, this takes place about 10 years after Days of the Future Past, so it brings us into the 80s era. So in that time, basically the Xavier School has become a full-fledged academy. There's plenty of new mutants coming in to learn their abilities, but in the background, we also have people like Raven that have, been outside of the academy, as well as other new mutants that are kind of finding themselves. And of course, we have Magneto also on the outside of things. And of course, the big threat in this movie is Apocalypse. He is the first mutant that has ever existed, and he has awoken. And now he is threatening to destroy the entire planet, and he is incredibly powerful. He is the biggest threat the X-Men have ever encountered. So it is up to the X-Men to band together and to defeat him. So, going into what I liked about the movie, first off, the sense of dread from the Apocalypse. Like, you feel like this is a huge danger. Like, this guy is threatening. No one has ever really seen this kind of power before, so I really like that there was a lot of risk and danger involved with this character. Next up, I want to talk about Michael Fassbender as Magneto. This guy is, it's really, he's probably, like, I want to say almost like the protagonist of this movie, even though it's called X-Men. He goes through some crazy character development. He really gives it a go with the emotions. I really felt for him a couple moments in this film. It was really great stuff that happened to kind of throw him over the edge to join Apocalypse, because as we know, Apocalypse has the 4 horsemen, and Magneto is one of them. So yes, I really like the whole arc of Magneto, especially in this movie. Next up, Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. This is probably one of the strongest villains I've seen in a superhero movie yet. As I was saying before, this is the first mutant that was ever discovered, and he is so powerful because his ability is basically he transfers bodies whenever he gets too old. And when he transfers bodies, if he transfers bodies with the other mutants, he actually gains their abilities. So through time, he keeps getting more and more abilities. And basically, he's called Apocalypse because every time he basically sets off an apocalypse of the world. That's what he wants to do, set up an apocalypse. So I really liked his motives too, about like why he wanted to destroy the world. Coming from the past, he's not used to all this weapons and technology, so he wants to wipe that all out. He doesn't like the way things are with walls and politics. He doesn't want any of those weak leaders. He calls them weak. He comes back from Egypt. He basically went under in Egypt, and so he's been like locked away for 3,000 years at least, or something, like 5,000 years. So this is not a civilization he's used to, so he wants to basically get revenge. So I thought it was a pretty cool character right there. Speaking of Apocalypse, that end battle with him, that was one hell of a ride. I really enjoy just that end sequence, all the characters, all the X-Men banding together in order to take this guy out and his 4 horsemen. Such really great fight choreography going on in that sequence. I really enjoyed it. Also, speaking of fight sequences, I really enjoyed the amount of destruction and just the visual effects in this film are phenomenal. Also things like Nightcrawler. Really cool, like the smoke screen and stuff, and of course, we had another one of those Quicksilver kind of events where he's running around, and that's always funny, almost just as good as Days of the Future Past. So you can look forward to that. Another thing was the New Mutants. I really enjoyed how we got a bunch of origin stories, like I mentioned before. We see Nightcrawler, we see Cyclops, we see Jean Grey. We have a bunch of really cool stories that find out how our heroes started. So I really enjoyed that, and how they learned to work as a team. I felt that was really valuable, how we've seen how they worked as a team. I thought the end of the storyline was good. How they ended it was satisfying for me. I enjoyed that. And basically, the take-home message that they kind of gave away in this movie was, don't control your powers, embrace them. Like, you try not to just concentrate them, let it through you naturally. So I thought that was a pretty valuable message that they put out there. But of course, there were little nitpicks, some negatives I had about the movie, keeping it from absolute greatness. So basically, the way the Apocalypse is resurrected, like I mentioned, no one's seen him since Egypt. He had went under in an accident underground, and just the way he was awoken, that was a bit stupid. Like I said, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but you'll know what I'm talking about if you see the movie. It's just like, okay, alright. Also, the movie could have been, I think the plot could have been either cut, like the movie could have been cut down in time, because it was a long movie. It was like 2.5 hours. I think one of the parts in the middle, the military compound, again, I'm being very vague about this for you guys. The military compound thing could have been cut out of the movie altogether. We had another kind of villain show up in there, but he didn't really have any kind of closure at all. And then basically it just, yeah, okay, it showed a cameo of a certain character, which you guys could probably guess who it is just from the trailer, the last trailer. But didn't really do too much for the story. I feel like and during that whole time they weren't showing anything about Apocalypse. So I feel like they could have built up Apocalypse even more by having maybe another battle between the X-Men and Apocalypse. And that also leads me to the next thing, is going from that compound directly to the last battle. That seemed a little bit rushed to me. Like, how'd they get there that fast, and how'd they even know how to get there? That seemed a little far-fetched for me, so I didn't really enjoy that too much. And like I said, I would have liked to see more of, like, more action with the Four Horsemen. Like, they were really building them up, and yeah, they had a nice little sequence at the end, but just the action, I would have liked to see more X-Men versus Apocalypse. But that is what I thought about X-Men Apocalypse. Apparently this might be like the last X-Men movie, surprisingly, at least for James McAvoy and Fassbender and the girl that played just Jennifer Lawrence. They all don't look like they're going to be coming back. That might not mean we might get like an X-Force movie. I mean, there was a rumor that there might be like a New Mutants movie or something during the 90s. I seen an article, I don't know if it was true or not. So take that with a grain of salt. So all in all, I really enjoyed X-Men Apocalypse. Compared it to the other newer films, this would kind of rank third between, next would be First Class, next would be, and then my favorite one would be Days of the Future Past. Still recommend, go out to the movies, see this thing. It's an absolute spectacle, really epic, great music. So yeah, that was my review. So what'd you guys think of my review for X-Men Apocalypse? Are you planning on seeing the movie? Are you big X-Men fans? Who are you looking forward to seeing the most? Let's discuss it in the comment section below. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter at StarRaptor, as well as like my Facebook page of StarRaptor. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel here. You can find other cool uploads such as my review for Civil War. I'm also part of a music podcast that we do weekly called Audio Addiction, and it's all about anything in music. So we have news, different kind of stories, discussions, so go ahead and check that out. I'm StarRaptor. Thanks for watching, guys, and bye-bye.